Thank you for joining me for another video, a slightly different format to the usual videos I bring out. So today I thought I would share my screen, and due to that, I've had to compromise with the webcam quality. Excuse me, it's still early in the morning, and it's not been that long since I've been up. But moving on to more important things. You don't really need to see my face anyway. The more important thing today is sort of see the screen to show you the sort of formation I'd like to see Mikel Arteta utilize going forward. So in my last video, I did sort of mention that I really wanted to see Mikel Arteta utilize these 2 weeks to sit down, go back to the drawing board and formalize a new setup, lineup, new personnel, get out of this rigid, pragmatic, defensive, boring football. So what I've done here is I've set up my 11. Oh, by the way, before we continue, courtesy to createformation.com, give them their shout out before, I get in any trouble for this video. But going back to my lineup, so this will be in terms of the lineup I'd like to see picked in terms of what we have for current squad availability. So what I've gone with is a 4-3-3 formation. Now, before we get in this, I know some of you might already sort of question, why has he got him? I swear he doesn't like him. Just relax. Let's get into it, yeah? So, Bert Leno in goal. I don't think any one of us could pretty much argue against that. Yes, I've gone with Ainsley as a right back. And that's just because I feel as if we've given Hector Bellerin too many opportunities. And some people might say, yeah, he played all right. Yeah, he's got 4 assists, but it's Bellerin. It's Bellerin. There's a reason why every team attacks us on that right-hand side. He's weak. He's defensively poor. He just doesn't really support his right wing. And that's another reason why I'm going with Ainsley. I've seen him link up well with Pepe a few times when I've seen him play. And I just thought as if as a player, he's got more about him in terms of attributes. He's more physical. He's a better tackler. He's a better passer of the ball. The only thing I would perhaps put Bellerin ahead of Ainsley is that final third ball. And when Bellerin's in the opposition's penalty spot, he sometimes can pick out a pass better than Ainsley. Sometimes Ainsley's a bit slow with it. Something I like to see him improve. But let's be honest, when have we really seen Ainsley cement a spot as a right back and play there for a continuous amount of game? I can't remember since I'm pretty sure it was Unai Emery. And when Mikel Arteta first did come into the club, Ainsley was there and he played quite decently, but got dropped off because of personal issues, really. But so that's my right back. Moving on to my centre back. I think you all knew I was going to bring William Saliba in without a doubt. You know what? I've seen him in the Gillingham game. He looked good. He set up he had a pre-assist for the first goal. Yes, at times his passing wasn't the greatest, but let's be honest. Imagine if just put yourself here as a human being. Yeah, you played for Saint Etienne. You played for the first team. You're now being demoted to play for the under-21s. Are you really going to be bothered? Your body language would just pretty much sum it up. And that's what it was against Gillingham. He just didn't really look that bothered, but he read the game well. He came out with a ball decent a few times. And in terms of the goal that Arsenal conceded that day, it didn't come from his side. I believe it was on Chambers' side, but Chambers came out. So for me, the kid has done nothing wrong. He's good to go. And do not talk about, oh yeah, his personal issues, because this kid is ready to play. And how do I know that? Because he requested to play in the French Cup final in July and his personal issues arised in May. So explain why now that personal issue has become an issue all of a sudden when it was fine back in July. So I'm not believing that. I think we've got nothing to lose. Mustafi, Louise, Socrates, all their contracts are up come June. He's our future. Let's go with him. Gabriel, I don't think I really need to explain that decision really. Likewise with Kieran Tierney, I think everyone will have Tierney, Gabriel and Leno as a guaranteed starter. Depending on Saliba and Maitland-Niles, I reckon most people will go with Ainsley, but some people might opt to go with Bellerin. And I just think with Saliba, it's just a question of when he plays. But I reckon most Arsenal fans want to eventually see him play at some point. And now, Mikel, you've got nothing to lose, really. So play the man. Moving on to the midfield area. Now, this is the area which I found the hardest to select. And that's because it's not because we've got so many talents to choose from. Because let's be honest here, with the exception of Partey, you can pretty much pick or choose the other two. So I've gone with, reason why I've gone with perhaps a two deep lying midfielders, and that's because I reckon Mikel Arteta won't just transition from playing very defensive to just go coming out attack immediately. And as well as that, I just feel as if this sort of setup brings some sort of balance, and I can sort of see Mikel Arteta playing with this. The one key area is perhaps maybe he might opt to go with Granit Xhaka instead of Dani Ceballos. I've personally gone with Dani Ceballos only because he's more mobile. And for me, I've not got an agenda with Granit Xhaka. My only issue with Xhaka is just that he's not really athletic. He's a bit too slow. I think he looks brilliant in European games, and you can see it in the Europa League. However, when it comes to the Premier League, I just feel as if he gets closed down too fast. You know, he doesn't have enough time on the ball, and that's when he panics. And that's when you see Granit Xhaka make these irrational passes, which may lead to the other team going on in the counter and perhaps sometimes even getting a goal, nicking a goal from us. And that's why I've got Dani Ceballos there. And if Mikel Arteta can get him in that form that he was in towards the end of last season, where he was very effective, he was very dogged, putting his body on the line constantly, then I can honestly see this being a decent setup going forward. Thomas Partey, as I mentioned, definitely a guarantee. And I think by the inclusion of Thomas Partey, we'll see more of a balance. We won't see play just sort of being dictated from that left-hand side, and we might see more possession on our right-hand side. The way he sort of breaks down play, he could sort of drive forward, link it up to Pepe, the likes of Willian. And that's why I've got Thomas Partey there. Now, that's the elephant in the room, ain't it? Yep, Willian. I know you're going to think, whoa. You don't like Willian. Why do you have Willian in your squad? What has he done to warrant? Just let's relax a bit, yeah? Let's relax, yeah? Reason why I've gone with Willian is because in terms of the best game we've played so far this season, despite what people might say, Manchester United, nope. Fulham, nope. I actually think it was the second half against Sheffield United. We looked very, very fluid in attack when when Pepe came on and he went out to the wide and Willian took up that position in the middle. If I'm correct, we scored 2 goals and Pepe scored one of them. And then there was the other goal where Willian made the pass to Bellerin, who chipped it over. And I can't remember I believe it was Saka who scored. So I think that day when I saw Saka, Willian, Pepe, he just looked very fluid. And if I'm correct, I do believe Aubameyang was operating centrally. And I just like to sort of see that. I'd like to see that more. And for me, Willian should never be ahead of Pepe. And I think if we're going to bring him in, and I've always said he should either be a squad player who can come on for Pepe, but that should not jeopardize Nelson's career here. But I would like to see him take up more of that number 10 role until we can perhaps get someone long-term going forward. So that will be my midfield. But as I said, that was probably the most difficult. You can arguably replace Ceballos for Xhaka, maybe get Saka in for Willian or something like that. But I think the only one, as I mentioned, guaranteed is Partey. In terms of my attackers, Saka, Aubameyang, Pepe, I think perhaps maybe I'm being a bit biased here, but I'd like to sort of say at least 90% of Gooners out there would have that as a front three. And I just think it works so well. The only time we saw that, if I'm correct, we did see it at Sheffield United. But as I said, please do not quote me on that. But I need to refer back to that. But the last time I did sort of see them, but it was, Martinelli on the other side. It was under Freddie Ljungberg against West Ham. And guess what? Pepe, Aubameyang and Martinelli all scored. And I just feel as if that's a very great sort of fast pace, very fluid front three. And as I said, with Willian in behind him, I can see that being a decent sort of link up. So that would be my team selection in terms of the current players we have available to us right now. So if we move on to the other tab, again, courtesy to create formation, we've got this will be my team selection in terms of if everyone was fit. As I said, Leno in goal, decent, young, stable back four. I'm not going to go into the reason again, and I'm pretty sure you're all fed up with my obsession with William Saliba. So in terms of the midfield three, again, it's always difficult. And I would like to see us perhaps where we had two deep-lying midfielders, maybe going forward, play a bit more expansive, have Thomas Partey in that base, and then maybe a Dani Ceballos on the right side of midfield and a Saka on the left side of midfield. Now, for me, this is a bit tricky because having Saka there might ruin the balance of the team because he is quite attacking. But yes, I know he's played as a left back, left wing back, so he's still got that defensive element installed in him. However, it might work, it might not work. I'm not paid £6 million a year to make that decision, but I'd like to give that a try and see. It's only because I just think these two link so well together, and maybe we could perhaps utilize this formation in sort of smaller games where we find it difficult to break down teams. So this will be my team, and up front, pretty much the same. However, the Brazilian magician Martinelli has to come back, and I can't wait for him to come back. My only concern is when, in terms of playing Martinelli, I know when Arteta first came in, he perhaps gave limited time for Martinelli to play, and I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see Arteta just stop being so timid, stop, being so sort of scared to make these moves. Just entrust the youth. And when you have the likes of Martinelli, you've got nothing to lose. He's a fan favourite. He's exciting. He runs up and down the pitch. And I just honestly think we all can't wait to see him come back. And I think that's just not even Arsenal fans. Many neutral fans out there love Martinelli. So for the Premier League, it's just, a blessing for his return. And that'll be my front three again. Aubameyang, Pepe there. So that will be against sort of smaller teams that I'd play this formation. Now, I've created a formation for the bigger oppositions. So we can't just play, all guns blazing every game. We're going to have to, at sometimes, be a bit defensive, be a bit pragmatic. And this will be the sort of formation I'd like to maybe see Arteta deploy against some of the bigger teams out there. And yes, I know what you're thinking. He's gone with a back five, and I have. And that's only because I've seen it work well so far. We've managed to beat the likes of Man City, Liverpool, United, Old Trafford. And I just think it's working so far. So why not? Why not? Maybe just mix up a bit when it comes to sort of smaller teams. But in terms of the bigger teams, this will be the lineup I'd go with. Leno, Tierney as that left centre-back. And when we're attacking, he gets deployed as a left back with Saka sort of coming infield, and Ainsley sort of being that right back as we're currently doing. In terms of this formation, I won't be fussed if Mikel Arteta perhaps opted for David Luiz's experience instead of William Saliba for the bigger games, and I'd honestly be fine with that, so long as we see the young Frenchman play in some of these smaller games. And I'm happy with seeing the likes of Luiz coming in with perhaps Gabriel and Tierney for some of these bigger games. I'd have Saka as a left wing back. I think he plays really well there, links well with Tierney, and he's intelligent enough to know when we have the ball to sort of come in and help out the midfield area. I'd keep Ainsley there. I think he's worked really well in terms of this formation, but we do usually see him on the left-hand side. But I'd like to sort of see him going forward, playing that right-back spot. So therefore, it's an easier transition to go from a right-back to a right wing-back. Hence why the selecting Ainsley on that side. Yes, I know. I brought back Mohamed El Nene only because I think that he sort of dogged display where he just constantly runs for 90 minutes, full stop, is something we need if we are going to play this formation. Only because we've got that sort of massive hole in midfield. Because of that extra runner. Sorry, because he runs so much. At times, it might feel like he's an extra player there, and that's why I've gone with El Nene and Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey only because he's Thomas Partey. He's able to sort of break play, run with the ball, and create play as well. And I think that they managed to bring the best out of each other. So that would be my partnership for the bigger games. Up front, Martinelli on the left hand side. Not only is he always a threat going forward, let's not forget, how hard this kid works. You'll see him on the 80th minute running up and down, helping a left back, and the energy he has. And that's why I'd like to see Martinelli feature in the big games, simply because he will be great going forward, as well as retaining the ball and getting the ball back. Nicolas Pepe, a bit hard. You know what? Just like what I mentioned about William Saliba, I won't mind if Arteta opted David Luiz. Likewise here, if he did choose a Willian, in this scenario, I would not mind too much. Why? Because Willian will work hard. He will help out the likes of Ainsley in that spot. So for me, if Mikel Arteta chose Willian, fine by me. Up front, again, depending on the centre backs we have, if we've got sort of big, rugged centre backs who won't allow Aubameyang that space or won't give him time on the ball, then maybe we can see. I know what you're thinking. Relax. Yes, I'm going to say the L word. We might see Lacazette there. And I won't mind that only because Lacazette, I know what you're going to say, he doesn't really hold the ball up. He more so pushes his ass out at defenders. But in saying that, he does a lot of the dirty work. He works hard for the team. So if he sort of did choose Lacazette there, that's fine by me. We can't expect Aubameyang to play every game of the season. So if he was to perhaps choose a Lacazette there and maybe shift Aubameyang there, that's fine. But this would be somewhat in terms of the formation I'd go for and the personnels I'd go for the bigger teams. So this is what I think Arteta should sort of do going forward. It will be interesting to see if he does actually realizes he has been wrong. At times, I have found him to be a bit stubborn, and I really hope for his sake he is not stubborn and he realizes he's just going to have to come out and play. And he sort of does release the handbrakes and goes with a formation as I've sort of put forward, and entrust some of the younger players, as I mentioned in Saliba, perhaps trust in Ainsley in a right back spot, and stop this obsession with playing Willian there when Pepe perhaps has contributed to more goals and assists in the club more than anyone else, with the exception of Aubameyang. So it'll be interesting times. He's not got much money in the bank, I'd like to sort of think. Remember, we've got Leeds United, and then we've got a massive test in Tottenham. And I think if he was to lose both of those games by being a bit stubborn and having that five in the back, then I might think we're going to have a massive backlash in terms of fan base. But if he decided to sort of set up differently, and we went there, we attacked, we played decently, but we didn't get a result, then I can honestly say, for my side, for me personally speaking, it's not really that bad. But I'd like to see some sort of progression, and I feel as if we need to come out this five in the back. It's not helping us. So, this will be my squad going forward. If you could let me know what you think of it and who would you have in terms of the current squad, what will be your 11 in terms of once everyone's fit, and what will be your 11 for some of the bigger games. Thank you for tuning in, and as I said, apologies for the webcam quality, but hey, you don't need to see my face. Take care, guys. Bye.